About 20 years ago, I was in the hallway at the place where I worked, talking to a senior staff person, someone I respected, but someone who's been doing this a lot longer than me. And I was pitching something I was super excited about. It was just really casual, just like, hey, this is what I'm working on. Blah, blah, blah. I had the visuals dialed in. I had the language was sharp. The whole thing looked exactly the way I wanted it. I thought I was killing it. And this man looked at what I was doing, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but barely, you keep talking about the paint job. I want to know about the engine. And I didn't have a great answer to this question to the statement, because he was right. I was so focused on how everything looked that I hadn't done the hard work of figuring out what I was actually trying to say. That moment changed how I think about every piece of communication I've made since. Isn't that weird? I can actually pinpoint right to that moment. And today I want to talk to you about that exact problem, the paint job problem. It's more common than ever, and honestly, AI is making it worse. I'm Dan Portnoy, and welcome to the Portnoy Media Lab. This is a podcast for makers chasing meaning and marketers chasing impact. All right, so here's what I mean about the paint job problem. There's a version of marketing, and I see it everywhere, that performs intelligence without delivering it. It uses the right words, it says things that sound smart. The post looks great, the campaign is slick, but nobody moves. It's not very effective. Not because the audience didn't understand you, but because there's nothing to understand. The packaging's idea was either unclear or non-existent. And I want to be honest with you, I did this. I did this a lot. I feel like this is like the first move of any marketing person ever. This is literally how it goes, and it's okay. I'm not blaming anybody, but if you're 40 years old and you're still doing the same thing, well, maybe you should talk about it. But also, how have you done that? Financially, wow. But this is a totally normal thing. So I did this. I'm very guilty of this, and that's why I'm telling you about it. The mentor story I just told you, obviously was me in that part of it, young, excited, and I was trying to be clever. And that is a lot. Clever is seductive. It feels like it's working. It feels like you're saying something. But clever is also a costume, and clarity is the body underneath. And clarity isn't the same thing as simple. Simple is vague. Clarity is specific. And I don't know if simple is hard. Simple is very hard. Clarity is specific, but simple can be very difficult to find out. And usually it's not until we kind of wrestle with something that we find it. There's a massive difference on those two things, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's talk about AI. I have to talk about it. I want to be upfront. I use AI. I love some of the things that it lets me do. I don't love, there is a crap sandwich with that. I don't love that it uses so much resources. I love that I can get this mirror of what I'm, throwing spaghetti at the wall, and I'm getting it. I love that. I love that it makes me kind of feel like an octopus, like I have 8 arms instead of 2. I can produce things at a speed, if I'm careful, that I actually enjoy, and it's genuinely changed some of the things that I work, especially in finding information. Research is so fast now, and I love that as long as it's right. And that's the other part, is that, there's still AI is kind of on its training wheels. So I think it's important for us to double check things. And I think it's also important for us, I don't want AI personally to do the things that I love to do. I don't want AI to edit my videos. I don't want AI to come up with cool slogans. I don't want AI to do all the creative work I absolutely love. I do want AI to do my dishes. I do want AI to clean my house. I do want AI to do my laundry, and all of those things that I just kind of am bored of. It's just part of life, and it's things we have to do. But I think that's where we really should be putting a lot of resources and helping us get through the days and weeks in style. I'd like that. Okay, so the problem I'm seeing, and I think this is, I actually just saw a consultant online talk about that AI created stuff is like burritos at the convenience store. At the gas station. Gas station burritos are AI created things. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have any value. It totally does. But especially when you start getting into actually what it's doing for your for your brand or something like that, I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting it that much. It can be very creative and it can make really wild things. When I see some of the things that it can do on Midjourney, I go, wow, that's really amazing. But I don't want that. Like, I want real, like, human people who are artists who have spent 20 plus years doing things. I want them on my campaign because the things that they're going to make, the insight that they have, very interesting, very fun. And I think it makes the whole process better. So I think I've watched a lot of marketers kind of hand over the wheel entirely because they go, hey, I can make a year's worth. You've probably seen this, a year's worth of content in 30 minutes. That sounds terrible. Like, are my opinions even going to be the same in like a month? Like, the idea that I would like spend an afternoon and create 365 pieces of content that are going to go out this next year. I mean, that's great, I guess. Like, I don't want that. I personally think that's terrible. But I get the pressure to post and to produce and to show up everywhere. And there's a lot of like you've got all the different social medias. You've got to do stuff. And do you have to post every day? And, the YouTube experts are saying like, you do need to post every day. And if you don't, there's problems and you're going to get shadow banned and blah, blah, blah. I get it. But to drop a generic prompt, pull a post out, and check the box and move on, yes, I think it's going to make some people sleep better at night. But I think the result is technically competent, but it sounds like it was written by a committee. And if there is anything that's going to get me upset is literally committee stuff, because committee there's no soul in it. Like, you've probably done the classic of doing like a focus group. And you introduce many things. Well, do you like this or this? And what does the focus group do? They try to combine the two things in some way. And they're like, could we do both? And you're like, no, that's not really going to do. But it helps and sounds smart. Again, it sounds smart. Oh, we're combining everything. So now you have a Swiss Army knife instead of just a regular Japanese knife. But I personally would rather have a Japanese knife that does one thing instead of one that does 42 things. So, those pieces, those posts, those things, they're smooth, they're correct, they're completely forgettable. And then, your average person who's doing this kind of stuff, they sleep well at night because the box is checked. But I don't think it's working. And here's what we know. Or here's what AI doesn't know. It doesn't know that your client pulled you aside and after a board meeting and said, we're losing donors and I don't know why. Or it just sounds like everybody else. It doesn't know the specific exhaustion of a team that's doing more with less for 5 straight years. I mean, think about how things have gone since COVID. Are we wearing more hats or less hats? A lot more, right? So the AI doesn't understand the audience in the same way that you do. And I think that is actually a very important distinction. When you skip the thinking and you go straight to the output, you get a paint job every time. So maybe, is it a good one? Sure. Yeah. But there's nothing underneath. And that's what I think is the difference. So what does clarity actually look like? And I want to give you a real example. I could say things to you that, like for my business, I say, well, we help nonprofits grow. And that is true. I do that. That's one of the things I do. I help nonprofits connect with people. But being clear says most nonprofits aren't broken. They're tired, overwhelmed by bad advice and systems that don't fit their world. I help you fix that message. Which sounds better? It's kind of obvious. Which would you rather work with? One of those will make people nod, but the other makes people scroll. You know which one is which, right? So clarity names the problem before it offers the solution. And it earns the right to be believed. And that's very important. Clever just makes you sound like you're good for the moment. And the feed doesn't care how clever you are. It really doesn't. So before the next thing that goes out, the post, the email, the campaign, the pitch, I want you to ask yourself one question. If I stripped out every stylistic choice from your post, your idea, your campaign, the design, the tone, the format, the font, the colors, what would be the idea underneath? And is it still worth something? And if it isn't, we have a problem, right? And if it is, you have an engine and you can now build a car around it. But if it isn't, there's no amount of paint is going to help. That mentor from many years ago doesn't know how much that one sentence has changed the way I work. And it's 20 plus years later, I still hear it all the time. Every time I'm tempted to reach for clever and I haven't done the work of being clear. Okay, I always think about that. So this is the kind of podcast that I write a lot about. Usually with the podcast, there are two things that go with it. One is a blog post on my website, portnoymedia.com. And then the second is over on the Substack, which I call Workshop Journal, which is kind of a more personal take on what I'm thinking about with all of these things. And you can check it out there. Links are in the show notes. And that is it for this week. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week. My name's Dan Portnoy. Rooting for you. See you later. Thanks for watching this video. If this has helped you, there's another video for you to check out right over here. And if you like this channel, if you like this kind of thing, please subscribe. I post new conversations and field notes every week on our podcast, the Portnoy Media Lab. Thanks so much. See ya.